get married with happily ever after in our minds, and we take our vows, and then we're like, okay, we're going to commit to making it work. And then we're often also in search of whatever the secret sauce is to make marriage work. But is it really a secret? But before I get into all that, let me welcome you back to my channel. My name is Ayanna, and this is Beyond Committed, where we talk about everything from life, faith, family, marriage, motherhood, and everything in between, and we take them beyond. If this is your first time here, welcome, and I'm so glad you stopped by. And to make sure you're not a stranger, make sure you press the subscribe button below and then turn on your notifications so you don't miss a video. All right, now let's dive right in. Know that in life and in marriage it is filled with so many ups and downs, and we as wives are committed to making it work. And not just make it work, we want a prosperous, lifelong, fun, healthy, joyful marriage, and one that is healthy and strong. And in order to do that, we often are looking for like that secret sauce, that thing that if we just do this, everything else will just, work out smoother. It won't be smooth sailing, and you'll go through some ups and downs at times and some bumps along the road. But you're like, okay, if I just do this, everything else will eventually in one way or another work out. And I know my husband, Eric, and I had that same thought. We're like, okay, we are committed to death do us part, and we're going to make this work. Yet we weren't really sure what that looked like or how to do that. So, it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of, okay, well, let's try this. Well, we saw this person do that, or this person told us to do this, so let's just do that and see if it works. And then one day, the light bulb went off for me. I realized that in search of the secret sauce to make marriage work, I realized that as wives and within our marriages, we have to stop being so focused on what's going on the outside and look at all the things that are within, because the secret to having a healthy and happy marriage that is uniquely yours is focusing on how you both are uniquely you, because God created you uniquely and individually as individuals. So is your marriage. So it's so important that in marriage we're mindful of that. And that is truly the secret sauce. The secret sauce to marriage is knowing that your marriage is not going to be exactly like anybody else's, and that's okay. And investing the time, the effort, and the energy to seeing how to make it work. And there are 3 ways that this is done, like practically, because I can tell you that sounds simple. It's like, okay, Ayanna, your life and your marriage is unique. Yeah, okay. And now what? So now what? And I had to think about that too. I'm like, okay, so we're unique and we're individuals and not like anybody else. So what do I do with that? Well, here's 3 ways for you to not just embrace the uniqueness and your secret sauce, but how to walk it out and use it so that you do have the healthy, happy, and lifelong marriage that you dream of. And the first way to unpack your secret sauce and your healthy marriage is remember that God is at the center, and being mindful of that, and also being intentional about seeking God within your marriage, not just for you as a woman, but also for you as a wife and within your marriage and for y'all together is so important, because often we can get so caught up in trying to look for other sources, look for other information, look for other things, look for other ways to be poured into, that we lose sight of all the things that God has already put and poured in us already, and that maybe we are not aware of, or maybe we just kind of push to the side because we're trying to just look at all the other things. So remembering that, okay, the unique and beautifully and fearfully and wonderfully made way in which God created you both is so important. It's something that you have to just be mindful of and just be comfortable with too, because it's easy to look at, okay, what is healthy supposed to look like in my marriage right now? Well, allow God to show you that, and realize that at different seasons and different ways, it may look different, and that's okay. And that's also one of the things that as wives, we have to be so just in tune with and so mindful of, because healthy, strong, and happy may look different for you at different seasons. So allow God to show you what that looks like in the season. Allow God to strengthen you, give you peace and a comfort in that right now, realizing that things may not look all pretty and picture perfect on the outside to the outside world, but that is okay as long as you and your husband are committed to each other, keeping God at the center, making sure you are pouring in and nurturing and loving on each other in ways that are intentional and impactful and God-centered for you is all that matters, because it's easy to get caught up in trying to do all the things that someone else tells you. But first and foremost, we have to make sure we are listening and attuned to what God is calling us to do, what God is telling you to do, and unpacking and diving into the secret sauce in which He's already put in you. And the second way to unpack the secret sauce that is already within you and your marriage is to embrace the uniqueness and the different gifts that is already within you. Because how you love, how you show love, how you want to receive love is going to be different from anyone else, even from your husband for that matter. So it's so important that you are embracing the uniqueness that is you and realizing that it may look a little different from other marriages. It may look a little different even from a few years ago, because I know for like my husband Eric and I, we have like grown a lot over like the last just few years. But I mean, over the years of being married, we've been married like 14 years now, so it's been a lot of growing. And we met at 19, so it was a lot of things we were kind of just discovering about ourselves. We were growing up together. Literally. I mean, we went from teenagers to, then married and then having kids. So there was a lot of growing in that and a lot of unpacking of gifts and talents and love and learning each other's love languages. And over the years, it's so important that as you grow in your marriage, as you grow as a woman, that you are embracing the unique and beauty that God has put within you. Also embracing those unique gifts and talents with God has given you and how they show up and how they may show up different and how they may need to show up differently at different points in your marriage, because it's so easy to kind of get caught up in a one way of doing things or one way of how things should look and lose sight of, okay, even if it doesn't look like this, that does not mean we're not healthy. That does not mean we're not growing. It does not mean that our marriage is not strong just because it doesn't look either how it used to look or it doesn't look like somebody else's. And that goes back to comparison. I mean, this comparison thing will steal all your joy and your marriage if you let it. So we have to make sure that we are embracing the God-given gifts and talents that we are given and allowing God to grow and show us different things, while also using those gifts, talents, and abilities in the unique and beautiful way in which He created you both to love on each other well and to grow your marriage in a way that is uniquely you, and that in a way that be able to show your secret sauce to each other and being able to sprinkle that secret sauce on the world as well. Third way to unpack the secret sauce that is already within your marriage is to use advice wisely. Now, I know if you're watching this video, you're like, okay, Ayanna, that's why I'm watching this video, to get some advice, to, see how I can make this marriage work, to have the secret to a healthy and happy marriage. And I'm so glad you're here. And make sure you press that subscribe button so you don't miss another video. But we have to be mindful of the advice we get and how we use it, because there's tips and tricks everywhere. I know I love watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts. I read books. I've been to conferences. I've had a wife coach. I am a wife coach. I've had marriage coaches. I've had a marriage counselor. I mean, I have a therapist. I mean, I have had and will continue to do all the things just to help me grow as a woman, as a wife, and within my marriage. But we have to make sure we are filtering all that advice accordingly and seeing what can apply to us, what may not apply to us, or what may not be right now. Because there's some advice that is for today, and there's some tools that you just want to store into your toolbox until you need it later. And then there's some other tools and some other things that you may have done or information that may have been like, okay, that was for me then. That was, for maybe if you're in your newlywed stage, or maybe if, you're in the midst of a storm, or, you're in the newborn stage with kids. I mean, there's so many different things and different pieces of information that we can gather and we can have like in our, marriage and wife toolbox, but that doesn't mean we need to use them all, or that we need to use them all right now. So you have to be mindful and allow God to guide you in that as well, because all advice ain't good advice. Okay? Not everybody is for you or your marriage, and that's just real. I mean, people that you think love you may give you some advice that might not be best for you. And people that don't know you may not give advice that is best for your uniquely beautiful marriage. So just always be mindful of that, realizing that advice is great. And I love gaining new information and all of that, but allow God to always guide and filter that. And then also talk to your husband about different things about, okay, well, I heard this. What do you think? I'm forever sharing some tip or trick with my husband. And sometimes he'd be like, oh, okay, that's good. And then sometimes be like, yeah. And when I get that look or that word, I'm like, okay, that's not for us or that's not for him. So we'll keep it moving. It's not that it's bad. It just may not be for you, or it may not be wise advice as well. So just be mindful of that, realizing that, yes, getting advice and information and tips and tools and all of that is great, but we have to use wisdom and discernment to know when do we use it and if we use it at all. All right, that's it for today. And I want to know, what's one unique thing about you as a wife that will help to unpack the secret sauce for your healthy and happy marriage? Let me know in the comment box below. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and then make sure you press that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a video. All right, now until I see you again, bye.